Hey everybody, how's it going? How you been doing? I think this is the fourth in the series of Friday lunchtime concerts, and hope you're enjoying them. And we'll do a bit of chit-chatting about the show as we go along. You know, I've been kind of theming each show, those of you that have been following. And this theme is kind of to do with, I started thinking about the amount of time I spent playing around the country, playing different shows and things like that. And the people that came up to me and said hi and bought a CD and talked about the songs and yada yada. This is kind of a thank you and a shout out to all you folks. Where I play sort of what I regarded as being sort of the highest requested or the sort of favorites from those sets. So, and we'll talk a little bit about the songwriting process too, because I know there's some songwriters watching this week. I'm going to get going though right now. This is a song, I'm starting with this one because it was actually kind of an accidental song. I didn't mean to write it, or at least I wouldn't have written it myself, except a band that were looking for songs asked me if I would write a song for them. So I wrote them this one. They didn't like it, but I kept it. In a harbor town where the streets roll down to the fishing boats on the shore, and the ships roll in from the stormy main, bringing lonely ones back home. From rolling waves and endless days, when the nights are long for the pay, we kneel and pray at the end of the day. The same words we all do say, the same words we all do say. Take me home, for it's always on my mind. Take me home, I got nothing left but time. Those nights on shore, if there could be more of the wine and song the whole night through, and the midnight sky and a blue, blue eye, and a smile from one so true. And the whispers fly amongst the laughs and cries, once the dancing dies for the night, and the willing ear of a one so dear hears the words that fall so right. You hear the words that fall so right. Take me home, it's always on my mind. Take me home, I got nothing left but time. Take me home, for it's always on my mind. Take me home, I got nothing left but time. Time. song there called Take Me Home. As I said, it's a song that I wrote for someone else, otherwise I wouldn't have it had I not been asked to play it. And that at the end there was a reel called Miss Monaghans, which I've been doing in the live shows. I don't know, for the last couple of years I've been playing this out. I kind of run into that reel for some reason, and I still do, obviously. It's a song off of the Magician's Daughter album. I recorded that up in Amherst, Massachusetts, some time ago with a great producer, a fella called Dave Goodrich. Hi Dave, if you're out there. And if you're not, I'll see you sometime. But Dave was great. Yeah, I went up to his place and we sat around and he stuck microphones in my face, and I recorded. And I was always of the modus operandi when I recorded that I would do about 3 takes of a song and then go back and kind of pick out the best one. And we agreed to kind of follow that sort of rule. And so I would get to the 3rd take of the song. I would record 1 take, then do another, then do a 3rd, and I'd say, all right, let's move on. And Dave would say, I think you got 1 more in you. So I would say, all right, Dave, let's do a take 4. And I would put down take 4, and Dave would say, how about 1 more just for luck? And the whole recording session went like that. So we ended up on average, I certainly recorded about 5 takes. So we got to the end of the day's recording with about 5 takes of each song, and then we walked away, had dinner and that kind of stuff, and maybe it was the next day we came back to have a listen through and pick out the best ones. And almost invariably we ended up going with either take 4 or take 5 on the songs. So the lesson that I learned there for any of you songwriters out there that are recording is that it is great to have, it's always good to have a producer on hand, but if for no other reason than to have an extra set of ears in the room that are not as familiar with the material as you are, and not hearing it from the inside but from the outside. It offers a whole other perspective, and it's a very valuable tool indeed. Might as well do the title track off of that record, The Magician's Daughter. Coming right at you. School hall windows broken in, hollow road, it howls from either end. There's laughing dogs and there's whiskey boys making the most of a little noise. The choir bends under the same old part. The dogs disappear at night. There's drunken love by the traffic lights, and the stars sing down again. Circus came through town today. The dancing horses all on their way in their finery. And in the crowd somebody say, you know I'm gonna jump on board someday. Yeah, I'm gonna run away with the magician's daughter. Work's all done, the due's been paid, the garden sown, the cornerstones all laid. Roll on those rainy days. The factories made the memories fade. The eldest boy now, he's living far away. Polish girl rents his room these days. Oh boy, how the times have changed. The circus came through town today. The dancing horses all on their way in their finery. And in the crowd somebody say, you know I'm gonna jump on board someday. Yeah, I'm gonna run away with the magician's daughter. With the magician's daughter. stars sing down again. The Magician's Daughter. It's a song that it comes up a lot, and I thought I better play it there because it's been a while since I played it out live, as you may or may not have noticed. But I did want to include it for the folks out there that have a hankering for that particular song. Here's another one of those. Wrote this one on this kind of sounds like a country song, and I think the only reason I can sort of offer for that is that I was on a train when I wrote it, and maybe it was just something to do with being on a train in heading north out of New York City when I was living in Connecticut at the time. And I've always regarded it as a love song. A good friend of mine in Boston, she said I thought it was a love song until you got to the last verse. But we concluded that it's still a love song, it's just got a last verse that kind of gives it a twist at the end. At least that's the opinion. But let me know what you think. The song is called Whiskey, Wine and Beer. Well, I love when you're near to me. Your whiskey, wine and beer to me, I'd throw them all away if only you would stay. While my heart's exploring yours, I'd spend my time adoring all the softness in your voice, the little things you say. 'Cause when you call around, the city settles down outside my window. And how this little place lights up to see your face, I think you know. So curl your lovely hand in mine and let it stay in there this time. We've only got the sunset, tomorrow's on the way. And there's nothing on that radio, there's nowhere that we want to go. How about we just stay indoors and talk about our day? 'Cause every time you smile, I wish you'd stay a while more than you do. And though the things you say, they might be little, but they chase away my blues. Things like, hey, hey, my darling, how you been doing? Hey, hey, my darling, how you been doing? How you been doing? And I know before you go tonight, you're gonna tell me that you might be around this way for a while. And days will come and go, I guess, before I feel your sweet caress, before my open door reveals a sweet and lovely smile. So call me when you can, the money's on the stand, I think you know. Yeah, careful what you do, they don't all love you like I do, why don't you fool? And just say, hey, hey, my darling, how you been doing? Hey, hey, my darling, how you been doing? Whiskey, Wine and Beer. Like I said, I wrote that one on a train, and that's my only explanation for the fact that it has a kind of a countryish feel. But I remember when I recorded that, I recorded the demos for that song at my buddy Shandy Lawson's house in Connecticut. Shandy, if you're out there. And I got to that ooh at the end, and he said, "No, don't do that. You sound like a sissy. Don't." And but I kind of in the back of my mind I thought, no, I still kind of like it. Then I moved for the other recording. I moved to another studio, Jeff Wilson's studio in New Haven, and I just did those ooh parts just to see if Jeff would say anything like, nah, don't do that. I thought he might say, you sound like a sissy. But he didn't, so I kept them in there. So sorry, Shandy. I hope you can live with that. When I lived in Dublin, when I recorded the first record, I recorded it way down in West Cork, in the wilds of West Cork, in Connolly's of Lepp. And I brought the demos back up to Dublin. I was sharing a house with Mick McNamara and his now wife Dee and Anto Ward. And we sat around one night just kind of listening to the demos, and Mick had his head down, he was listening hard. And got to this next song, and he said, "Oh, that's a cracker right there." So anytime it came my turn to like sing a song when we were around, they were all musicians. Mick would always say, "Sing that one." So Mick, if you're out there, I'll try not to screw this up because it's been a long time. Called it a collision when she ran into me. Yeah, I'm still reeling. She cleared my indecision. She said, "You're coming with me. I've got a feeling." She's moonlight on the radio, singing to me. I hear her. And somewhere on the northbound road I said, I think I have to go now. I think I'm leaving. She said, "Well, yes, I know, you see, I understand the open road, but you just remember, I'm the moonlight on the radio, I'm singing to you. You'll hear me. I'm the heart of the rainbow, watching over you. You'll see me. You're always near me. Moonlight on the radio, sing it to me. I hear her. Heart of the rainbow, watching over me. I see her. I'm always near her. Song there called Moonlight on the Radio from the first album, Admission, which I did down in West Cork about 1,000,000 years ago, it feels like. Another one from that record has kind of a story behind it, I guess. You know, I recently heard something that Stephen King said, where he said that he doesn't keep notebooks for ideas, because his theory is that if the ideas are good enough, they'll stick around forever, until you get back to them. And this kind of song happened, or started, when I was living in England in the 80s, and I was in a bar talking to a guy, which is something I did on a regular basis. And this guy was a young man who was a hunt saboteur. He was the kind of guy that would go out in the middle of the night where there was going to be a fox hunt the next morning, and he would lay a false scent for the fox, or for the beagles, so that the fox could get away. Anyway, that's the kind of thing he used to do until he got caught by the authorities. And when I met him, he was on sort of probation, doing community service or something like that. A very disgruntled malcontent, kind of just really ticked off with his lot in life, picking up some odd jobs to keep going. And that's all I thought of it. You know, we had a beer and that was it. Life happened. And fast forward a few years, and I'm back in Ireland, and I'm sitting on a bus somewhere, and the guy just popped back into my head. So I thought, yeah, that's kind of interesting stuff. I think I'll try and put pen to paper and write about this fella. Try to write things from his perspective. The only problem there was I didn't have any paper. But I did have a book that I was reading at the time. It was a book called Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. And so I had a pen in my pocket, so I just opened the inside cover, which was blank, and I just started writing down these verses. And long story short, somewhere in the next couple of days I realized that I'd lost the book. So not only did I not know how the novel ended, but I didn't even know how the song started anymore. And so I kind of forgot about it again, and about a year later when I was recording that first album, the idea for that song kind of came back to me, so I just started it again. So it was a very long and convoluted sort of way to get to this song. And it was a very long and convoluted explanation for you guys to get to it now, but there you go, I'm done now. The song is called The Hunt. This is especially for Nathan in Connecticut. Nathan, if you're out there. And it's kind of a very caustic kind of a song, written through the eyes of this sort of malcontent. My feet are killing me. I've been standing since 3:15. I'm on a double shift, and now I'm fully convinced I wasn't born to do this. I wasn't born to do this. I know a place they can kiss. I wasn't born to do this. You see, I'm working for a restaurateur, but really I'm a hunt saboteur. But the beagles, they turned on me. The local government, they just wouldn't agree. So I'm bound to the peace for a year, keeping my nose clean, listening with a deaf ear. Listening with a deaf ear. You'd be surprised what I hear when I use my deaf ear. I'm serving grouse, I'm serving hare to a bunch of balding millionaires, and cafe au lait to the nouveau riche. They'll take a window seat until they find a niche. And there's a stockbroker gets in here. He's got a different girl every night of the year. He wines them, he dines them, and they giggle as they sip. They're always so impressed at the size of his tip. His wife, his girlfriend, his lover, his mistress, his whore, his insignificant other. And all I ever get to lay is tables. All I ever get to lay serving hair to a bunch of balding millionaires. And cafe au lait to the nouveau riche. They'll take a window seat till they find a niche. And who's that old lady with the poodle? Which one of them is which? Which one got the legacy? Which one of them's the bitch? You see the aging yuppie with his company toys, the timeless model with the pointless boys. You see the lottery winner saving bankruptcy. He's got wife gets any thinner, we'll be feeding her for free. I'm serving beef to a cow, chicken to a rat, staring at each other and there's nothing staring back. And all I ever get to lay is tables. All I ever get to leave. Cafe au lait to the nouveau riche. Take a window seat until they find a niche. The Hunt. Hope that guy's alright. I never met him again after that, to tell you the truth. I think we should sort of maybe purify the air a little bit after that little rant right there. This is a song that I did on the last record. Last record started, in terms of writing, it became sort of autobiographical, which is kind of odd for me. That's not something I thought I'd go to, but I don't know, it just happened. And this song is I actually wrote it in St. Louis, Missouri while I was down there, and kind of hanging around during the day, then playing at night at John D. McGurk's fine pleasure palace there in Soulard. And I bust this one out after writing it during the day and brought it out to the other guys I was playing with that night, and it got the thumbs up, so it stuck around. And it mentions my town. I'm from Mitchelstown in County Cork, but the song has nothing to do with anybody in particular. It's more metaphorical, I guess. Anyway, it's called Days Burned Down. Well, there's a girl in my town, eyes of blue, hair of brown. She gets lost in the rain all day. And when the weekend arrives, she spins and dances all night. Burning eyes, will you come out and play? She says, while I'm in town, watch the days burn down. Watch the days burn down. You know we're only here for a brief time, dear. Watch the days burn down. When the river is high, she sees into her own eyes. She sings the black water's melody. And every raindrop that falls, she names one, she names them all. And she tells them, wait for me. She says, while I'm in town, watch the days burn down. Watch the days burn down. You know we're only here for a brief time, dear. Watch the days burn down. There's a girl in my town, eyes of blue, hair of brown. She tells the rain, wait for me. Wait for me. There it is, Days Burned Down from the Irish Guitar record. Another one that's been proven very popular out on the road, at least, is something I did for fun many years ago, back when I was living in Dublin, and my schizophrenic lifestyle at that point was to study jazz during the day in jazz school, basically, and at night go out and play Irish music for whoever would listen, and that's how I funded all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of the Irish music. I mean, I'm a huge fan, and I love Irish music. And there's one ballad in particular that I always loved playing, but I was playing it to death every night of the week, at least once. And I thought, you know, I'm going to fall out of love with this song if I don't start doing something a bit more creative with it, just to keep myself interested. So I did, and the jazz education of the daytime certainly rubbed off on this. So this is a version of The Star of the County Down, great Irish ballad from up in the northeast of Ireland. And when I recorded this, actually, I recorded this with my buddy Jeff Wilson up there in New Haven. And Paddy Keenan, who I was touring with at the time, was passing through town, and he said he'd lay down some low whistle on it for me. So I thought, great, lovely. And he popped into the house. The only thing we hadn't really figured on was that there would be construction right outside the window of the studio on that day. A couple of guys with big jackhammers going like that. So we had no choice but to just kind of wait until they were not doing that. And they were not doing that for maybe 5, 6, and 7 minute bursts at a time before it would go all over the place again. So me and Paddy just had to be ready. As soon as that jackhammer stopped, we sat down, and Jeff hit the record button, and we got a take. And that's kind of how we got it in the end. But anyway, this is the kind of version that came out. Kind of a jazz swingy kind of a thing. Town in County Down one morning last July. Down in Boreen Green I met a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by her. Yeah, she looked so sweet from her 2 bare feet to the sheen in her nut brown hair. She was a coaxing elf. I had to shake myself just to see if she was really there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, from Dublin to Galway town, no maid I've seen like that sweet Colleen. She's a star of the county down. She onward sped and I shook my head. I looked with a feeling rare. Yeah, I said I to a passerby, who's that chick with the nut brown hair? He said he, and he smiled at me. She's a gem in Ireland's crown. You know who that is? It's Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann, the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, from Dublin to Galway town, you know there's no maid I've seen like that sweet Colleen. the star of the county down. So at the harvest fair she'll be surely there. I'll dress in my Sunday clothes, with my shoes shone bright and my hat cocked right, for a kiss from my nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse will I yoke, until my plow is a rust-colored brown. Oh, and there's a smiling bride by my fireside, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking me and Rosie, me and Rosie. Oh, she's so fan-dabba-dozy. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Cay, from Dublin to Galway town. No, there's no maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen. Oh, no. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen. Oh, no. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen. She's the star of the county down. Yeah, she is. No maid I've seen like the sweet Colleen. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, she's the star of the county down. The star of the county. The star of the county down. The star of the county down. She's the star of the county down. Yes, she is. She's the star of the county down. There it is, the star of the county down, whether you like it or not. So a lot of the time when I'm introducing that, depending on the kind of show I'm playing, because sometimes I'll play at folk venues or very Irishy things, and I generally tell the purists that they're just not going to like this one. I think forewarning is just kind of fair, really. You know, one of the things as a songwriter that I found, for all you songwriters out there, one of the things that I found very valuable over the last 5 or 6 years, that I've had the opportunity to work with a theatre company way up in northern Minnesota, and the playwright and director, Therese, who's a fiercely talented woman, she writes a play once a year, and for the play she likes her characters to have songs to sing. And that's one of the jobs that fell to me, because I'm the music guy. The challenge for me was to write through the eyes of a character all the time. You know, it was always a different character. Each year had a different setting and a different kind of a play. And you know, I remember the first year kind of experiencing this for the first time, and being asked to write a song that would be sung by 3 octogenarian women, triplets. So I thought, okay, all right, I'd give it a shot. It worked out, and I found that you know, the experience itself was kind of cool, because I wasn't writing anything sort of from me. There wasn't anything sort of cathartic, or there wasn't anything that I was trying to put forward. I was just trying to write for someone a song for someone else to sing through their character. So it was always challenging and very refreshing, and I really enjoyed it. Huge learning curve. It was great. And one of the ones, this is where I get to make a fool of myself, by the way. One of the ones that came up a couple of years ago was one of the characters in the play. The play was set in like 1942, I think it was, here in the States. And the character was a young Parisian burlesque dancer, a girl who was young and frisky and made her living as a burlesque dancer. And here she was in the States, fleeing what was happening in Europe at the time. And she needed a song. The restless young thing needed a song. So I thought to myself, I'm going to have to find my inner young Parisian burlesque dancer to make this happen. And it did work out all for the best, but it was a real learning curve. So when I say I get to make a fool of myself, it's because you get to see me as not this Irish folk singer guy, or songwriter or whatever, but you get to see me through the eyes, or you can imagine me as a young Parisian burlesque dancer if you feel like it. Totally up to you, whatever floats your boat. Anyway, the song is called "The Touch of Your Skin." I'm all alone, I'm bored on my own, nothing to do all afternoon. If there's a guy who's so inclined and has the time, all we could do all afternoon. There have been men who've had the yen. They've called me once, they always call again. But now I'm bored, I lie on the floor. That ceiling fan, that's no match for a man. And there's no sin in the touch of your skin. Just me and you. Well, your heart yearns, my fire burns. There is no shame in feeding the flame. Touch of your skin, just me and you. And your heart yearns, my fire burns. There is no shame in feeding the flame. No shame feeding the flame all afternoon. Touch of your skin. You can stop imagining me as a young Parisian burlesque dancer now. It won't work for you, I hope. Speaking of that whole autobiographical thing, this next one is definitely autobiographical, and there's nothing metaphorical about it. It's proven very popular when I go out and play shows, so that's why I'm including it here. I recorded this record, and this song in particular has one Kevin Buckley all over, the guy from St. Louis, who engineered and co-produced the record with me in his studio in St. Louis. And being the sort of, maddeningly talented guy he is, he was listening to this and he thought, hey, how about I put down some bouzouki on that or something? I said, okay, have at it, man. And how about some fiddle? All right, do that too, seeing as you can do that. And so Kevin Buckley sort of turned up on this song a lot, but he was absolutely invaluable for the whole recording of the album. But he's kind of all over this one. So thanks, Kevin. The song is called Good Times Coming. Summer and the telly couldn't keep us inside. The swimming pool was open, there was no one staying dry. My granny had a plate with JFK and the Pope. She hung it in the hall, I guess it gave them all hope. Drinking pint bottles up behind the schoolyard, waiting on a miracle and watching for the guards. Complaining about the rain and then complaining about the cold. Easy on the cigarettes, we don't have any more. You know, we never saw the good times coming. But when they come, they hit the ground running. We didn't recognize it because they didn't televise it. No, we never saw the good times coming. That would stop in our town, collared shirts and cameras that all stepped down, asking silly questions about the mystical land. God bless them everyone, I hope it turned out as planned. I never saw a leprechaun or found a crock of gold. Don't kiss the blarney stone if you intend to grow old, cause the things we do when no one is looking. And I'm not saying nothing, we were only killing time cause we were bored out of our minds. You know, we never saw the good times coming. Mother in their four-letter words. A couple of Minnesotans stop and chat for a while. Fierce romantic notions about the Emerald Isle. I said, now don't be seeing banshees over every stone wall. And if you see the fairies, now that's all your own fault. We never cried cockles, we never cried mussels, but we cried all night about paying back Brussels. And we never saw the good times coming. When they hit the ground running, we didn't see the tiger till we sidled up beside her. No, we never saw the good times coming. Tiger till we sidled up beside her. No, we never saw the good times coming. You know, you never see the good times coming. When they come, they hit the ground running. I guess you should be ready cause you don't know if there's many. No, you never see the good times coming. Appropriate fade out. Good times coming there. Coming to the end of our little lunchtime gig. I hope you're enjoying yourselves out there. This is one that I wrote in a bad mood. It's funny how that goes sometimes. I'd read about this happening before. I remember Eric Clapton talking about how he wrote Wonderful Tonight, which is a beautiful love song. You know, the whole sentiment running through it is, you look wonderful tonight. But he said he wrote it while he was waiting for his wife to get ready. And he was really kind of ticked off. She was just taking forever. So he sat down with his guitar just to kill time because he figured this could go on forever. And that's when he wrote Wonderful Tonight. So that got me thinking, actually. I thought, does that actually happen? And then I was sitting in St. Louis with two other musicians who had a huge fight and with each other, stopped talking to each other completely. And for some reason, in the course of our month stint together, playing the show, they stopped talking to me too. I don't know what I did wrong, but you know, there I was. I think I was just a fall guy. So I found myself sort of spending a lot of time alone, feeling sorry for myself and kind of ticked off with them. And I would spend time out on the porch with the guitar in my hand and some beers. And I wrote a bunch of stuff, and I came up with some different sort of arrangements of this and that. This is kind of the only one that came through, but it's funny that this song is sort of got a more sort of it's got a sort of an uplifting theme, but it certainly wasn't feeling uplifted at the time. I think sometimes the songs just show up to give you a bit of a boost, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, this one's called River Song. myself high, got my wings to fly. I'm gonna find my way to the river. And when we go down on that muddy old ground, I'm gonna dive right in the water. Listen, I'll spread my wings, I'm going to rise up and sing of the ocean blue and the forest. Listen, I'll spread my song over lifetimes long, beneath the sun that shines down on us. Flying high between land and sky until we reach the great river. And when we go down on that muddy old ground, I'm going to dive right in the water. To dry my tears and my sorrow, and my wings to take over deserts and lake my song until tomorrow. Listen, I'll lay my head on that deep river bed to wash away all my trouble, but I'll still sing my song over lifetimes long for my sisters and my brother. Flying high between land and sky until we reach the great river. And when we go down on that muddy old ground, I'm gonna dive right in the water. Flying high between land and sky until we song called River Song. I'm going to finish up with this next one, and this isn't a song that I wrote, but it's a song that I wanted to do this week because last week there was a lot of stuff online with the passing of John Prine, and there was a lot of tributes online, which I also contributed to, felt I really wanted to. And so I wanted to finish with a John Prine song this time, not as tribute, and let the tributes be and our goodbyes be gone, and let's get back to singing John Prine songs just because they're good songs, that's all. And this is a song that I heard as a teenager on the TV. I think I was a teenager, I don't know, it was a long time ago anyway. And I heard he was doing some spot on a talk show, and he did this, and as it started I had enough time to run to the cabinet and get a VHS tape, that'll tell you how long ago it was, and throw it in, and actually caught the rest of the song and figured out the chords and stuff by playing that back. And it's a great song to end because it's a song that wishes all the best. It's called All the Best. So I hope you like it. You love and happiness. I guess I wish you all the best. I wish you don't like I do. Don't fall in love with someone like you. 'Cause if you do, just like I did, well, you'd be walking around the block like a little kid. But kids don't know, they can only guess how hard it is to wish you happiness. Now some say love, it's like a Christmas card. You decorate your tree, you throw it in the yard, and it decays and dies, and the snowmen melt. Well, I once knew love, I knew how love felt. I knew love, yeah, love knew me. When I walked, love walked with me. And I had no hate, and I had no pride, and I had so much love I just couldn't hide. I had so much love I just couldn't hide. Say you drive a Chevy, say you drive a Ford, you say you drive around town till you just get bored, and you change your mind for something else to do, and then your heart gets bored with your mind and it changes you. It's an awful shame, it's an awful mess. I guess I wish you all the best. I guess I wish you love and happiness. Wishing you all the best, folks. See you back here next Friday. We'll do something else. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.